Hey there everybody, this is Shago and welcome back to Megadimension Neptunia V2. In the previous episode we beat Dark Orange and completed the game. Well, rather we got the good ending finally. Much better than that bad ending we got a few videos ago anyway. But this time we're still here, we're still playing this game because we're fully intending on going on true ending, because I've done like in the other Neptunia games, I've pretty much gone through every ending in the game. So, what's the to do now with this one? But anyway, yeah. This video, I'm basically going to be going through how to get true ending, and following that is going to be the other route after beating Dark Green, and then all the true ending stuff that happens afterwards. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm also just mentioning now, just like I've done with the other similar games, because I did this with Fire Fantasy Ref as well as the Neptunia games. The voices are now going to be in Japanese, so you can actually hear them if you so want to. I believe some scenes that weren't actually narrated in English are actually narrated in Japanese, but we may or may not actually see them. So because someone not really going through like true and properly. So anyway, with that pretty much out of the way, hopefully, what you're going to be seeing now, you're going to be seeing a lot of fast-forwarded content. So basically, I've recorded roughly around 2.5 hours of footage here, not really including the stuff from HeartDimension, since there's only one thing you need to do in HeartDimension, spoiler alert. So anyway. If you don't like fast moving images or flashing images, then maybe just turn the video off, like don't really watch this one, or otherwise just like scroll away from the flashing images and just hear my voice, I guess, if you would feel like doing that. So I'm going to go through this through each particular story arc. A lot of the training requirements are from HyperDimension, but like I said, we'll get there. Firstly, we are going to be doing the ZeroDimension. The ZeroDimension is probably, I want to say, the easiest one, but the ending requirements for HeartDimension are just as simple as well. For ZeroDimension, you just have to make sure you view every single event right up until Neptune gets sent back to HyperDimension. As a side note, you can actually just initiate the event and then use L2 or the left trigger, depending on whether you're playing on the PS4 or the Steam version or the Nintendo Switch version. I think you press, I think it's ZL on the controller. That controls the version of L2. So yeah, you just need to do that. When Neptune is sent to the HyperDimension, before actually talking to Noire for the first time, using Noire's chirper, you should have a chirper with Histoire there as well. All you need to do to start setting up true end is view that cutscene, and I believe there is a time limit on when that cutscene disappears, and I think it's from when first gen CPU actually appears on the overworld map, but I've not actually tested that, because most of the time I've just like initiated the cutscene as soon as I've been able to do it, and not really checked that the time limit for that. Fortunately, I have checked time limits for the other things as well. So yeah, here's the cutscene for that particular scene, and I will see you for doing all the HyperDimension stuff. And now for the HyperDimension. This is pretty much where the vast bulk of getting all the training stuff is going to be done, and a lot of it, especially for Neptune's part of doing this, since it's pretty much split into 4, you basically have to do anyway, and is pretty much time limited. And I have actually done some research into how time limited it is, so unlike the ZeroDimension stuff, I actually know what the time limits are for this. But yeah, what you'll probably want to do before even doing anything is when you get to the gold third fight, which is still impossible by the way. If you've got the DLC characters, or you've carried over everybody from New Game Plus, basically what you want to do, you want to set up the party so that there's 4 human characters in the back row with the CPUs, since they're mandatory. I basically put if, compare, and I think 2 of the DLC characters I threw in there as well, eventually. But what you want to do when the battle starts for each of the CPU's turns, just swap character with the other character, defend, and just make sure they're all close together. So when the gold third start to attack, they generally attack more than one person, and they all get killed as well. So it just makes that quicker. This actually, I mentioned it before when I started the HeartDimension previously. Basically, because when the CPUs die, and also the CPU candidates, if they die in a battle, you lose a significant amount of shares when you do. They also lose shares when they take non-zero amounts of damage, but that is insignificant. That's an insignificant amount of share loss. It's just like the major amount of shares that you do lose is if the CPU actually gets KO'd in battle. So this basically saves that, and it actually mitigates a lot of the share grinding you're inevitably going to do. I mean, compared to, I'll be honest, compared to the other Neptune games, especially the rebirths, shares are really easy to come by, I'll be honest. But with all that said and done, let's get started with the story arcs. First up, we're going to do Neptune's story arc. Neptune's actually probably the most complicated to do. I think it's probably what you have to do for the most part anyway. Basically what you want to do with this, you want to go through the first few cutscenes up until the first converse with Tistiwa. Once you've done that one, if you pay a visit to the guild, you should have a quest called First Some Practice. What you need to do with that, you need to kill 8 doggos. This is time limited. This quest actually disappears after you beat R4 in Security Row, so it's kind of a good idea to do this quest and then do the quest straight away and turn it in as soon as possible. But yeah, you basically got to time it. If you don't do it before like beating R4 up in Security Row, then you basically the quest disappears and you're locked out of true ending. Before actually going to first gen CPU Sanctuary, because that's where they are, pack a few forbidden twigs and possibly a few eject buttons if you still don't actually have any in your inventory. If you come from New Game Plus, you probably should have some of these, and you probably should have the ability to buy forbidden twigs in the shop, which is why I crafted that item right before I finished good ending anyway. So you really want like 5 of them, 5 of each at the most. If you don't have forbidden twigs, you're not able to build forbidden twigs, don't worry, just wait around for the doggos to respawn. The only reason I say you might want a twig is because you can get really bad RNG luck with how many doggos spawn with each encounter in the dungeon like I did. Sometimes you might get, I think you can get up to 4 doggos in an encounter, and if you're lucky like that, that's fine. But I wasn't. Sometimes I only really got 1 and 2. But yeah, once you've done that quest and then turned it in, you should have a history event in the converse menu. Make sure that you view that, and well, here is that particular scene. So once that's done, you will actually need to carry on with the storyline, beat up R4 and Security Row, and then view the first compass scene in the converse menu. Once you have done that, you should have another quest in the guild. That will be it's the extermination quest thing. I should point out that the next few things, including this one that we're about to go through, you can pretty much do in any order. But you do have a time limit for these extermination requests that you're gonna have to do. They've both got the same timing anyway. In which case, in both cases, you have to make sure you have you have 2 extermination requests you have to do. The first one spawns now after you talk to Compa, and the second one spawns after you've done the first one. So we get the first one, which is 10 diligent cats. Again, you go into first gen CPU's sanctuary for these. You probably will definitely need twigs of these because I think at the most for these encounters you only really get 2 anyway, and there's not really that many encounters with them reliably. So yeah, you are pretty much going to have to pack a few twigs in this one, and maybe an inject button as well. Once you've turned in the Easter's Request 1, you go straight into a cutscene, which looks like this. And once that cutscene is done, you should get his Extermination Request 2. This needs you to kill 10 red daggos. Now there's 2 places where they spawn. One of them is Security Row. You can go back up there and kill them from there. Or you can go to Hyper City Station, which is a place where you have to go mandatory anyway. I actually did this quest. I actually did both quests before actually going into Hyper City Station. Because of this, because it's actually found. It's actually a lot more consistent to find more red doggos in Hyper City Station than you can in Security Row, which means you'd have to use twigs and stuff, and possibly an eject button since you're probably in the second area. While in Hyper City Station, it's basically just one big area, and all the red doggos are like pretty much near each other. And I think the one that's furthest away, that's nearest the save point at the end of the dungeon anyway. You can get up to like 5 or 6 there, so yeah, but if you fight all the red doggos in Hyper City Station, you can get the quest done straight away and finish off what you need to do in that dungeon anyway. I should note, you should also have at least one anyway from starting, because one appears in the 4th battle anyway. So you only really need to find 9, and 9 is really easy to find from Hyper City Station. You basically have to make sure once you turn that in, you do get another cutscene that's gonna happen after you turn it in. I should tell you now, you do have a time limit for making sure that you turn both of those in, and that's after doing Hyper City Station. You get 2 converses, 2 mandatory converses you have to deal with. One of which is Histoire, and one of which is with IF. And you have to do both the extermination requests, turn them in, and review the cutscenes before viewing the converse with IF. Otherwise, they disappear, you've looked at a true ending, and well, everything's gone its way for like the past hour or so. Anyway, here's what the second cutscene is after getting to the examination 2. last thing you actually need to do with Neptune storyline is to get Planetune shares up to 60%. Now you can pretty much do this at any time you want. I've decided to just do it now because I feel like it. You can almost do it either straight away as soon as you started and have investments enabled. I've just done it now, but ideally, what you'll need to do here, because you actually need 60%. You can get it through doing a lot of quests, but the easiest way to do it is through public relations. And if you've not really done you didn't do the trick to swap Neptune around with another character, you're probably going to need public relations level 7. If you did and she still has a lot of shares, one of the things you have to remember regarding the share mechanic is that it's there from pretty much the start of the game, even though you don't realise it until now. So anytime if Neptune dies in ZeroDimension, Neptune and Nepgear die in ZeroDimension, or we get hit with some damage, and that they're going to be losing shares, or if you actually use CPU at any point as well, because that takes shares as well. But yeah, with all that said and done, once you've gotten 60% shares, like I said, level 7 in public relations is more than enough to do this. It also means you have to do MillioNep, and since that always appears at level 6 for whichever city you go into. So what I'm actually going to do in MillioNep, since I did it with Rebirth 3 as well, I actually completed all of those and got everything for that. I'm also going to be doing the same thing for this game as well. We already did the ZeroDimension one. I'm probably going to show it off again. But yeah, the MillioNep answers for Planetune is protagonist to protagonist, light blue and crosses. Probably already seen them already. But anyway, once you've got to 60% in shares, just view History's events in the Converse menu, and that's it. All you need to do then is just complete the rest of the story arc, and pretty much done with Planetune, and pretty much the vast majority of the stuff you need to do for True End, let's be honest. I should mention here that this is the point where you can actually get the events to get him at as a scout. When I did the previous good ending, I kind of missed out on him. The B-share events that happen here only spawn in the Converse menu after dealing with the Planet Lastation stuff. It actually goes away when Planet Park spawns, so yeah, make sure you do both of those if you want to get picking at. I believe that's actually the last scout I've actually found, unless I'm very late. I think it's probably missing the only one that you can get otherwise. I believe is from doing public relations and HeartDimension. I've not actually done that yet, so yeah, that's pretty much all the scouts, I guess. as for the other CPUs, you're basically going to be doing the same thing. All you basically have to do for the other CPUs is to gain 40%, minimum of 40% shares for each of the respective cities. Noire actually has it the easiest, especially if you do the character swap exploit when you're doing your gold third fight, since at the start of the game Lastation has the most shares, and I think Leanbox has the second largest amount of shares as well, so they really don't actually have to do much. And in both cases you're also going to be doing a couple of mandatory quests anyway that will raise your shares a little bit anyway. Funnily enough, you don't actually have to do that with Blanc, which is kind of strange, since the whole story arc revolving around Blanc is like all guilds and stuff like that. So yeah, in all cases, if you kind of like didn't do the sharing, the whole swap people around thing, you'll want 40% share, and now to do that, public relations level 4 is the easiest way to do it. You get money. If you start with money, just sell everything, all the items that you don't need, and use the scouts because they give you money when they report back, so they have a chance to do it anyway. I did actually want to do the whole MillioNep thing whilst I was here, but I found very quickly whilst trying it for Lastation that that's a very bad idea, as I ended up having to sell absolutely everything I had on me at the time, just to get to level 6 and in public relations, and it takes a lot of time, which is kind of like the whole reason why my main set of footage here is like 2 hours long, is because I ended up having to wait for scouts to come back with the right amount of money I needed to get to level 6. Best thing to do those once everybody's reunited, since Neptune has all the money, and you still have the issue when you're going with the other CPUs that they don't share Neptune's inventory. All they have is whatever everybody's equipped with, and 1,000 credits here now. I think in Vert's case, I think it's 2,000 credits or something so like that. Since I know Shard gives you some at the start of the story arc as well. But that being said, all you need to do 5% shares in each one. Noire and Vert get it easier than Blanc, but just get to level 4 public relations for all of them. Ain't small enough, and basically once you've gotten to level 4, the respective CPU will show up in the commerce menu with saying something along the lines of "they're tired, or they're sleepy, or they need a rest," or something like that. View that event, and you're basically good. Once you've viewed that event, you basically finish the rest of the story arc. Once you've gotten the best of those, once you've done all 3 of them, once you've done all 3 other CPU stuff, just basically go through and complete all the other story arcs. Again, if you wanted to do MillioNep stuff, like I said, it's better to just go ahead and wait until you've reunited with Neptune, since you probably have the most money. And if you sold all the Elfness processor parts in your previous playthrough and you're doing this on New Game Plus, then yeah, that's definitely going to be the case. But yeah, after that, just complete the rest of the story out once you've done all the other story out, and that's it for HyperDimension. Don't need to do anything else. And so we come to HeartDimension. This one's pretty much a lot like ZeroDimension, in that you're basically going through the story until a certain point. And that point is when Big Neptune actually rejoins the party. But I want to mention something first, sort of a fun fact. When you're going through Deprived Domain, the secondary Deprived Domain, or the larger, more open area, if you actually explore the entire area, view the map, zoom it out, it's actually a 8-bit Neptune. Now I know I'm aware that other dungeons in previous games have done it, but from my basic playthrough playing those things, playing these previous games, they've really either been optional or you only need to go there for like 100% completion anyway. You don't really notice it, and you're probably not even going to notice that this is an 8-bit Neptune. But like I said, just explore the map and explore the area and view the map, and there you go, an 8-bit Neptune. But anyway, aside from that, basically just playing the game until Big Neptune joins the party and tells you where the CPUs are in Ontario Corridor. And then you get the 4 optional things to get the CPU streamed. All you're doing is basically just the same as doing the thing for good ending anyway. Just make sure you view the 4 dreams and you're basically good to go. Once you've done that, beat up the delusional CPUs, stack them out of whatever the Korome's done. Beat dark green, choose whichever route you're going to. But as I mentioned previously, I'm going to be doing the HeartDimension stuff straight after this. And once you've done that, carry on with the story until you beat Dark Orange. After beating Dark Orange, that's when the storyline diverges between the good ending and the true ending. And yeah, that's basically all you need to do. I'm actually going to leave a link to a Google document with my notes on what you actually have to do in order to get true ending. And I've kind of also put some extra notes in for MillioNep answers for the HyperDimension story arc. as well as the cloud for getting that as well. I'm going to leave that in the video description. It's probably going to be a Google document. Yeah. Any other questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. The also of the YouTube algorithms up there, so I've heard. And I'll see you next time when we go through all the HeartDimension stuff after beating Dark Green. Take care, and I will see you guys later. Ciao!